Hello, fellow fragrance lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm coming at you with a requested video, sort of. One of my subscribers had requested that I do videos about my favorite perfume notes, and if you're familiar with my channel, you know that my number one fragrance note is myrrh. I love myrrh, so I will be getting a myrrh video together at some point. But I don't have as many myrrh fragrances as I do my second favorite fragrance note, which is tobacco. If you know my channel, you know that I love tobacco fragrances. So that's what I'm bringing you today. I am bringing you the best, well, really these are just like all of the tobacco fragrances in my collection. I'm fortunate enough to not have any duds as far as tobacco fragrances in my collection. I mean, for me, you know, fragrance is very personal. So maybe you don't like these, but I love all of these. So I'm going to share these tobacco fragrances with you. And of course, before we start, if you could subscribe to my channel, if you haven't already, I would really, really appreciate it. Please also like this video. That definitely helps. And of course, you can click the notification bell so you are updated every time I release a new video. Now, going into fall, at least, you know, the fall season in the Northeast US, I feel like that is the perfect time to break out the tobacco fragrances. These are definitely not for high heat, I would say. I mean, at least most of them. Right now, unfortunately, it is pretty hot here. And I'm even getting a little overwhelmed by the smell of myself because I gotta tell you, I smell like a cigar store right now because in preparing for this video, I kept like, you know, reminding myself of what everything smelled like. So I have probably like 10 different fragrances on right now. And like, I reek like a cigar, but to me, that's a good smell. So I'm not really that mad about it. So yeah, so I'm going to go through these. Now I do have bottles, like full bottles that I own. And then I also have several samples here of fragrances that I don't have full bottles of yet, but they are on my wish list and they're definitely wonderful tobacco fragrances. Another disclaimer, not all of these are extremely tobacco forward. Some of these fragrances feature tobacco as like, you know, a background player, shall we say. Yeah. So it's not like all of them smell like a cigar, or, a really, really prominent tobacco note. Some of them, it's a little more subtle. It's so interesting going through your tobacco fragrances and then reading reviews of tobacco fragrances and seeing other people's points of view. And, just the differences and the nuances between like the wet tobacco type of smell versus the dry tobacco smell. And I'm going to get into that. The other thing that I love about these fragrances is really, I would say they're all unisex. Not that I'm not one of those people who thinks things have to be like masculine or feminine. I try to divulge that information for people who are interested in that. Like, if you really go by like, okay, masculine versus feminine notes, but I think all of these are really nicely unisex, like in the middle for the most part. So I'm really excited, but I have there's a lot. So I'm going to warn you right now, if you want to pause, get yourself a snack, a drink. I don't know. You're going to have to prepare yourself. I don't know how long this is going to be. It's probably going to be long. I'm just warning you. But if you love tobacco and fragrances, I think you'll be happy with my video. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, let's get into these. So I wanted to start out with the OG tobacco fragrance, like the fragrance that started it all, for me anyway, on my personal fragrance journey. Not just with tobacco fragrances, but like with niche fragrances in general, because although I've always loved fragrance my entire life, I really didn't get into niche fragrances until this bad boy that I'm about to talk about. And that is, of course, the very infamous, famous, whatever you want to call it, Tom Ford Tobacco Veneer. This bottle is from, I think, 2009. And I believe at the time this was like $180. I had never, and it's gone up in price obviously over the years, but like I had never, ever spent that much on a fragrance in my entire life. I don't even know how I got this. Honestly, I probably maxed out one of my credit cards to get it. I don't recommend doing that, but I think at the time I was like, I need this so badly, like I don't care how I have to get it. So here's what I'm going to say though. I wear this so often and it's lasted that long, so that's good. But Tobacco Veneer to me is just, this was my signature scent for so long, like literally the only thing I wore for a while. Also, little tip, I also have the body spray of this guy here. If you're looking for, really not just this, but any other Tom Fords that are in body spray form and you really cannot afford, you know, the regular fragrance, the body sprays are fantastic. I don't actually find too much difference with like the wear of them and the scent of them. So if you want an affordable way to try Tobacco Veneer, I definitely recommend the body spray. Really, really nice. So this to me is just like, it's bonkers. It's amazing. It's a classic. I think at this point, I believe it came out in 2007, so it's really a classic. So I got it, yeah, probably around 2009. And it's just my go-to signature scent. Love it so much. So the top notes of Tobacco Veneer are tobacco leaf and spicy notes. Mid notes are vanilla, cacao, tonka bean, tobacco blossom, and base notes are dried fruits and woody notes. It's just this beautiful tobacco vanilla experience, and you definitely do get those other notes in there, but to me this leans very like sweet cigar or like pipe tobacco. And so I am a high school teacher, and there have been times where definitely my students are like, you smell like, you kind of smell, someone said, you smell like my, like, don't take this the wrong way, but you smell like my friend's bedroom and he smokes cigars and you smell like that. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but, I don't know. I just love Tobacco Veneer. And to me, it had never really even occurred to me, especially for a woman's fragrance. Now this is like marketed as a unisex fragrance, but I really had very little experience with tobacco in fragrance before Tobacco Veneer. And I feel like a lot of fragrance lines like followed suit and came out with kind of like their own version of a tobacco fragrance. So I know Tom Ford is so polarizing, and there's definitely Tom Ford haters, but you got to give him credit. Okay. You got to give him credit because this was really the first like mainstream to me. I mean, unless I'm missing something, I wasn't paying much attention to the fragrance world, like as obsessively as I do now, like back in 2007. But I don't know, you guys let me know. Was this the first like really big like tobacco fragrance drop? Let me know in the comments because I'm not really sure, but it was the first one I really knew about, and it just got me so into tobacco fragrances. So that is Tom Ford Tobacco Veneer. You can't go wrong with it. All right, the next one I just talked about in my fall fragrance video, and this was like my favorite discovery of the year probably because, as I said in my fall video, if I had to create a fragrance, like my own fragrance, I was able to like formulate one, which I hope to do someday. Like this is pretty much what I would come up with, and that is the Rebecca Minkoff fragrance. This one, guys, is like, oh my God, like it's bananas. It's bonkers. It is so good, like makes my head explode, all that good stuff, right? So the top notes in Rebecca Minkoff are cardamom, coriander, and bergamot. Mid notes are tobacco, jasmine, and amyl salicylates. And base notes are tonka bean, leather, patchouli, and labdanum. And I know some of those notes sound a little bit scary. I know there are people who like don't like leather in their fragrance, don't like patchouli, or maybe don't even like tobacco. They're all really subtle, and it's very classy. Like people aren't going to think like, oh wow, here comes like a tobacco bomb or leather bomb or whatever. This is so classy, elegant, subtly sweet, just, oh my God, it's so good. So that is Rebecca Minkoff. I really highly recommend this one. It's just delicious. It's a good one. All right. I have so many notes here, by the way. I hope I keep everything straight because I have notebooks and it's a little bit crazy. So anyway, moving right along. Let's see. What are we going to do next? Oh, I guess next we will go with this one. Okay. I know people always say this on YouTube, like YouTube fragrance videos, when they're like, I've never heard anyone talk about this. I'm the only one talking about this. But I really feel like that's true for this one. I have literally never heard anyone talk about this before, ever. And I watch a lot of fragrance videos. So this one is Memory Motel from Unwee Nomad. And it's part of this Unwee Montauk. I guess it's the series, right? So, and I have it on. This one is very different to me. Now, first off, the story behind this really sold me on it. Like, this was a blind buy completely based on the story behind it. So the story is, my favorite artist of all time, Andy Warhol, had this place in Montauk, and this memory motel place in Montauk, and rented it to the Rolling Stones so they could record Black and Blue. And I love the Rolling Stones. So like the combination of Rolling Stones and Andy Warhol, I was like, sold, and tobacco. I was like, duh, no brainer. So let me read you the notes for this one. The top note is bergamot, mid notes, carnation, iris, and incense. The base notes are tobacco, vanilla, leather, patchouli, and oak moss. Okay. This one really messed with my head because when I read the reviews of this on Fragrantica, it's like what other people are experiencing is very different from what I experience. I'm not really sure why. I have it on. That's why I keep sniffing right here. I have it on right here. This is like on the reviews, a lot of people were saying this was like a very tobacco vanilla type of situation. And no one was mentioning like this oak moss note, but I get so much oak moss. This is so weird, but this almost leans in the direction to me of like Revlon Charlie, which is a very oak moss prominent fragrance. The tobacco in here to me is a dry tobacco. It's more of like an ashy, not like cigarette ashes completely, but it's dry. It's not very sweet. I hardly get the vanilla in this. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I do get that freshness from the bergamot. So this compared to the other ones is not as vanilla as at all. And much more earthy oak moss. And I do get hints of that leather. So it does smell kind of like, I guess it smells like the Rolling Stones were renting your house for the summer. And then you walk in, you come back, they're gone. And you come back to your house. Yeah, I think that's what it smells like. It's like leather, this leathery, tobacco-y, kind of dirty a little bit fragrance. But I like it. If you want a tobacco that leans a little more earthy and fresh and not as like sweet, like tobacco vanilla type of sweet, you might like this one. So this is Memory Motel by Unwee Montauk. Unwee Nomad is the technical line. I want to try more fragrances from this house. I, find it very intriguing. So we'll see. Okay, next. I did an exclusive video for this one, and that is the newly released Michael Kors Super Gorgeous, the only Michael Kors fragrance that I've ever tried that I've loved. I typically do not like Michael Kors fragrances because of, you guessed it, the heavy tuberose note. And, I just hate tuberose. But this one, oh my gosh, you guys. This is another one that is not a super sweet, really not even super sweet. It's just not sweet. Tobacco, very subtle tobacco, and a little more white floral. And when I did my video on this one, I had at least one gentleman comment that he had gotten it. So do not be scared off, gentlemen, by this one. It is, I think, absolutely unisex. Oh man, this one is so beautiful and different. This is not like any of the other tobacco fragrances that I have here, and I love that. So the top notes in Super Gorgeous are mandarin orange, myrrh, and bergamot. Love me some myrrh, you know that. Mid notes are orange blossom, ylang ylang, jasmine, sambac, and orris. And then the base notes are tobacco, atlas cedar, amber, alabanum, I don't know, sandalwood, and tonka bean. So this is just this beautiful marriage of tobacco and white florals and a little bit of woodiness too. Oh my gosh, it is really beautiful. A lot of people are hating on the name of this, like Super Gorgeous. And I mean, so this is of course a flanker of the original Gorgeous, which they were hating on that name too. To me, it's really only important what the fragrance smells like. I don't care that much about what the name is. I mean, if there's a good name, I like it. For example, I'll be honest with you, the main reason I bought Tom Ford Effing Fabulous is because I love that name. I happen to love the fragrance as well, but I don't really care that much about the names. But people were like going hard on like how much they hate the name of this, even though they love the fragrance. Not that important to me. But if you want a nice, florally, woody, subtle tobacco, go with Michael Kors Super Gorgeous. What's next on my list? Oh, this one. Okay. So when this first came out a few years ago, I guess I had smelled it because I was a fan of this line, the other fragrances in this line. And I feel like at the time, I guess I was just like, I had the other ones. I was kind of like, oh, they're coming out with another one, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, I smelled it, but I was like, I don't think I really invested too much interest in it. And then I kind of revisited it. I got a super cheap tester of this. Of course, now it's discontinued, so I think I'm going to need to back up at some point. So this is Elizabeth and James Nirvana Amethyst. Of course, the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen Elizabeth and James line. I am so sad that this house is like discontinued because these fragrances were inexpensive, smell pretty darn good. I mean, a lot of people say, you know, they almost border on niche quality, and they're just good. They have the same like scent preferences that I do. So I really like all of their fragrances. But oh my gosh, I am so glad that I revisited this. It is so beautiful. So this one just has notes of, it's not like differentiated by, you know, the levels, but tobacco, honeysuckle, cedar, and spices. You get that honeysuckle in the opening, which gives this like really beautiful, light, kind of airy feel. And then it dries down to definitely more of the spicy tobacco. And you do get the cedar. It's balanced so well for like, you know, $20 or however much. I'm also seeing that people are finding this at like TJ Maxx, I think it was, or Marshall's for like $20 for the big bottle and like $6.99 for a rollerball. So since it's being discontinued, if you see it, grab it. I really love it. I even love the bottles. I love that they look like little flasks. Beautiful. Another tobacco fragrance that, I mean, to me, it's not like a tobacco bomb, but it has enough tobacco where it's definitely noticeable. But absolutely beautiful bargain tobacco fragrance right here. So that is Elizabeth and James Nirvana Amethyst. All right, so this next one, I love, 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 love. I have quite a dent in this one, as you can see. And this is MAC Velvet Teddy. Now, the big thing with MAC Velvet Teddy is it is very well known as a dupe for Tom Ford Tobacco Veneer. And I will say they smell pretty darn close. They are pretty close. They're not exact though. So the people who say like they're exact dupes, they're not exact dupes. This apparently is also discontinued and people are finding it for like half price or whatever. I would say if you can get it, if you like tobacco fragrances. I believe that if you like Tobacco Veneer, you're going to like this. So I'll start off, you know, just saying that. But let me read you the notes because they are a little bit different from Tobacco Vanille. So Mac Velvetetti, top notes are tobacco blossom, ginger, and bergamot. Mid notes are honey, vanilla orchid, and mimosa. And base notes are tonka bean, musk, and papyrus. So the honey is really kind of what stands out as unique to this, but it's not overwhelming. What else do I get in there? And the ginger, because Tobacco Vanille does not. But again, it's subtle. The vibe, completely the same though. Completely similar vibe. I would say you can, wear this in all of the same situations you would wear Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. As far as longevity, there are people who say that this, for me, I feel like they're pretty similar. But I see reviews saying that this lasts for them, longer than Tobacco Vanille. And some people say vice versa. So it's so personal. But if you get the chance to pick up Velvetetti by MAC, definitely do it. I like several of the MAC fragrances. Those are other ones that get kind of like a lot of hate. But I think for the price, they're pretty decent. So MAC Velvetetti, there you go. Whew, okay, this is my last full bottle that I have, and this one, I don't know how long this was available. If I knew it was going to be so short-lived, though, I would have gotten a backup because I love it that much. But this is Red Musk by The Body Shop. I don't know if you are able to get this anymore, anywhere. Oh, I love this one so much. Why did they discontinue it? Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, well, this is a pretty simple one. Top note is pepper, mid note is cinnamon, and the base notes are musk and tobacco. This one, to me, I don't know, it's kind of woody. It almost smells to me like you're opening a chest, like a tobacco chest, something like that, or like a cigar chest. But, gosh, it's this beautiful... I don't know, it's this beautiful musky tobacco fragrance. A little bit spicy. I just wish it were available still. But if you ever get a chance to get this, I highly recommend it. It's, to me, the best Body Shop fragrance that has ever come out. You can see I've used quite a bit of it, and I don't know. It would be great if they re-release this. Who knows? But if anyone has tried this, let me know, because I feel like, again, not to keep saying it, but I don't think that anybody really talks about this, and it's amazing. So that is Red Musk by The Body Shop. I'm trying to keep these fast, people, because this video is getting long. I apologize. All right. Moving right along to things that I have just samples for. And I'm trying to remind myself. Okay. So I, of course, as you know, I'm a huge fan of the House of Habibi. I've done a couple videos on Habibi fragrances. They're amazing. Check those out. But they have one that I got the sample of, and they just recently released the full bottle of it, and that is Honey Tobacco Oud. And this is in the sample set, the Oud sample set. So this one, oh, it's so nice. This one is not really sweet to me, even though you would think it would be really sweet because it's called honeyed tobacco and oud. To me, it's much more oudy. So the top notes are bergamot, sage, cinnamon, and pink peppercorn. Mid notes are geranium, honeyed tobacco, and gaiac wood. And base notes are dry amber, leather, labdanum, and coffee. And I definitely get the, I get the freshness of the bergamot in there. Definitely get the woodiness and the leather. There's a lot of leather in this. But to me, it's really not that sweet. The sweetness is very, very subtle. But if you like more of an oud type of tobacco, but it's not overpowering, I think you would like this. So that is Habibi Honey Tobacco and Oud. All right. Moving right along. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is long. I am so sorry. Hopefully you have a snack. Do you have a snack? Let me know. If you do have a snack, let me know. All right. The next one I have is a sample, and it is Mancera Red Tobacco. Mancera is a line. I don't have any full bottles of fragrances from Mancera, but a lot of people criticize Mancera for being like very synthetic smelling. I haven't like really noticed that yet. But let me tell you about Red Tobacco. I think it's a really beautiful fragrance. The top notes are cinnamon, agarwood or oud, incense, saffron, nutmeg, green apple, and white pear. Mid notes are patchouli and jasmine. And the base notes are tobacco, Madagascar vanilla, amber, sandalwood, gaiac wood, white musk, and Haitian vetiver. So this one's really nice. I do definitely get the woodiness in this one, and it's not super sweet. I mean, you definitely get the vanilla in there, but I get also the cinnamon in this, and I don't know. I think it's nice. It's smooth. Some people were saying that they thought it leaned a lot more masculine than feminine. I don't know. I still consider it unisex, but that's just me. Overall, though, I think it's really nice, and I don't know. If I had the means, I would probably get a full bottle, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but really lovely. So that is Mancera Red Tobacco. Now, the next one, I had not really heard. I just sort of randomly clicked on this on Lucky Scent, like for the sample, because I think it was like newly available. I've never heard of this house or like any of these fragrances, but this is Tabac Doré from Bortnikoff. And this one I really like. The top notes are ambrette, which is muskmallow, vanilla absolute, and pink pepper. Mid notes are tobacco, cinnamon, benzoin, and fig. And then the base notes are agarwood or oud, labdanum, sandalwood, tolu balsam, Peru balsam, and cedar. So this is also woody. So this one to me gets very sweet in the dry down, but not vanilla sweet. It is more of, I mean, there is vanilla absolute in it, and you do get that, but I get a lot of cinnamon. To my nose, I pull a lot of cinnamon in this. Like on my skin, this pulls a lot of cinnamon, and I really, really like that. And, you know, also the fig. So this is a little bit more to me of like a syrupy sweet tobacco dry down, and I really like it. So I'll have to explore this house a little bit more. Let me know if you've tried anything from this Bortnikoff line, but this one is really lovely. So that is Tabac Doré. What else do I have here? Oh, this one you're probably familiar with. And I sprayed this at Neiman Marcus at the little Perfumes de Marley counter. And then I also got a sample of it. I do want to get a full bottle eventually. And that is Parfums de Marley Herod. Herod is beautiful. Definitely unisex. A lot of people say that they feel like this is almost a little more feminine leaning than masculine, if you're into that whole thing. But this one has top notes of cinnamon and pepper, mid notes of tobacco leaf, incense, osmanthus, and labdanum, and base notes are vanilla, iso e super, musk, cedar, cypriol oil, and vetiver. This to me is a very subtle, sweet, well-blended, well-rounded, almost bordering on like a cherry smell, although there's no cherry note in this. You definitely get like a subtle cherry tobacco vibe. But this one's not a screaming beast. You know, you're not going to go around, again, like smelling like a stinky cigar or anything. It's very subtle, classy, a very beautiful sweet tobacco fragrance that's just, you know, not too much. So that is Parfums de Marley Herod. Love this one. Love, 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 love. Okay, moving on. You guys, this is like a lot of tobacco here. So I'm going to get a shower after this for sure. And as much as I hate to wash all this tobacco goodness off of me, it has to be done. Yeah. I'm going to be seeing people later, and I'm going to I would totally bomb them out with my tobacco-ness. Okay. So another house that I recently discovered is Francesca Bianchi. I do have a video on it, like her range and, you know, all of the samples that I've tried. And this one, again, fell in love with the sample, definitely want a full bottle. And that is Francesca Bianchi Sticky Fingers. Oh my God, this one is good, 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 good. Another Rolling Stones reference. I guess it's just like Rolling Stones related fragrances. I don't know, but here are the notes for that one. Again, not differentiated, but there is patchouli, tobacco, orris, leather, sandalwood, tonka bean, castoreum, cinnamon, heliotrope, musk, and coriander. This is, I described this in the sample, like, sniffing video for Francesca Bianchi as, like, being backstage, like, at a concert where, like, maybe people are smoking, they're wearing leather jackets, but you do get a little bit of sweetness in there as well. It's just an amazing tobacco, leathery, patchouli fragrance. Definitely get the cinnamon in there as well. It's like a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet. This is on my wish list, like, for sure. I freaking love it. So that is Francesca Bianchi, Sticky Fingers. Okay. Oh my gosh. I have two more, people. I'm so sorry. This is so long. If you love tobacco, though, I mean, hopefully you're liking this. Okay. I am very intrigued by the House of Penhaligon's and the Portrait Collection. Unfortunately, when I go to, like, sample sites, they're, like, always sold out. So I kind of got this by default because, like, it was one of the few that was actually in stock on Lucky Scent. But I'm so glad I got it. I would love to have a full bottle of this eventually. So this is Penhaligon's Roaring Radcliffe. Oh my gosh, this is good. This is another kind of a boozy tobacco and sweet and more on the subtle side. This is not like a screaming beast of a tobacco fragrance. And also, to me, perfectly unisex. So the top notes of Roaring Radcliffe are rum, bergamot, and tarragon. Mid notes are tobacco, ginger, and rose. And then the base notes are honey, beeswax, cinnamon, tonka bean, leather, and amberwood. This is just like deliciously sweet, beautiful, another really classy tobacco fragrance. It's blended in very well. It's not overpowering. And I just think it's lovely. I think it's going to be great for the fall. So that is Penhaligon's Roaring Radcliffe. All right, the last one. This isn't like a super tobacco bomb at all. Really, that's not the star of the show. But since it does have a detectable tobacco note, and I fell in love hard with this. I am like, if you saw my reaction to this in my sample sniffing video where I blind smelled this for the first time, you know, like, I went completely bonkers, like head explosion moments. That is Goldfield and Banks Silky Woods. This one is like, it's too good. It's too good. So let me give you the notes. Top notes are Ceylon, cinnamon, and saffron. Mid notes are suede, agarwood or oud, Madagascar, lang lang, and jasmine. And then the base notes are Tahitian vanilla, Australian sandalwood, tobacco leaf, alabanum, and musk. Like, this is so beautiful, sweet, yummy, delicious, like very vanilla. So this one, the vanilla is more prominent than the tobacco is, but you can definitely smell the tobacco. It's just very subtle in the background. It's like, oh my gosh, I need a full bottle of this. I also need to, like, I don't know, sell a kidney or something. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I love this one. So if you want a very, and it smells rich. Like, I will say, this is one that, to me, yes, it's very expensive, but it smells expensive. It is absolutely gorgeous. So if you like a nice, like, sweet vanilla woods type of tobacco, definitely go with Goldfield and Banks Silky Woods. Okay, I think I've tormented you guys long enough, but those are my picks for wonderful tobacco fragrances. Let me know in the comments if you have any other recommendations for tobacco fragrances. I would love to hear about them. And of course, once again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would really, really appreciate it if you did. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.